Hello, my friends, plant friends, and other friends. Today I want to talk to you about Pothos. So we've got two Pothos right here. We've got the Marble Queen and Golden Pothos. Golden Pothos, this one's very cool. It's got these nice big leaves. And this is a really pretty big plant. These plants are really hardy. They come from Southeast Asia and they're just super tough plants. I mean, you could not water it for a month and it's gonna be okay. So as far as tropical plants go, these ones tend to be on the easier side to grow. Not only are they easy to grow and care for, but they're also really easy to propagate, which makes them fantastic plants overall. Easy to care for, easy to propagate, beautiful foliage. This is Marble Queen, and personally, I think she's just gorgeous. Look at those long tendrils. Oh my goodness. So, you know, you can, obviously these are hanging plants, but they can also be climbing plants. So, they are from, you know, they're semi-epiphytic plants, so they're used to either crawling along the ground or up a tree. These plants in the wild, as they grow up trees, they would be searching for light. So the leaves would get bigger as they grow up in order to find the light, you know, capture more light. So if you grow these up a moss pole, you know, and you can train them up, the leaves will get bigger for you. The more indirect light or morning sun you give it, the bigger the leaves are gonna be as well. So everybody wants those big leaves. Is what it's all about. There is another variety of this, another species of this, rather, that has huge leaves, and that's the Hawaiian Golden Pothos. This one, to me, I think is extra large. You know, these leaves are kind of the more typical Pothos size, but of course, like I said, they can get a lot bigger. So this one also can get a lot bigger. So I'll show you quickly how to propagate both of these. It's the same. It's so easy when you see on plants that they have aerial roots, because the roots just love to grow out of these nodes. So I do like to spray, it's like my sad little razor blade. Like to spray it with a little hydrogen peroxide. And usually I rinse it off, but I'm not gonna right now because it's probably gonna be fine. So I'm just gonna cut. So when I'm cutting, I wanna look for about 3 nodes. More is okay. 2 is probably okay as well, but when you're buying a cutting, you want preferably 2 or 3 nodes. You just have a better chance of propagation. So also tip cuttings, this is a tip cutting because it's the tip of the plant. Tip cuttings are generally going to grow faster than like a mid cutting. Okay, 1, 2, 3, then I would cut. I'm actually gonna cut right here. And this is super sharp. It doesn't really matter what you use. It does matter if it's sharp. Anytime you're propagating, you want to take off the leaf that's going to be in the water because it will rot. And that's no good. And that's pretty much it. It's so easy. So this can be an opaque glass. That's fine. It doesn't have to be clear. Put this near a window is great, and change the water if you remember. This leaf, probably nothing's gonna grow from this. So that's a tosser. It's a tosser. So if I was cutting from a plant that I knew it had some rot or some fungus or some issues, I would definitely want to sterilize this in between the cuts, but this plant I think is fine. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and cut from this one as well. So same thing, I'm just gonna look for 1, 2, 3 nodes and then cut. And I'm cutting near the base of the other node. So I have a nice long stem there. Same thing, take off that last leaf. Sorry, guy. And then just stick it in water. And something kind of cool about pothos is that if you put pothos into the jar of another plant that's rooting, it will actually help the other plant to root. So, or at least it seems like it would. I read that somewhere and I think it's true. It seems to help. I don't know. I just think that this is my non-scientific version of it. Maybe it's just magic, but that the pothos has maybe a lot of growth hormones just like bursting through it, and then it's sharing those in the water with other plants. So that's propagation. Like I said, these plants like a lot of indirect light. Leaves will get bigger and more beautiful for you if you grow them upwards with indirect light. That's a yay. Soil, it's super important that these guys are not overwatered. That goes for like almost every single tropical plant that you're gonna find. A lot of them are epiphytic, and although a lot of them like a lot of water, they don't want to be sitting in water. They're used to having a lot of airflow along their roots. Maybe they're used to growing up trees. So just in general, I would say tropical plants like to be on the warmer side, like a lot of indirect light, and like well-draining soil. Now, there's probably exceptions to that, but that's just in general. So if you're into tropical plants, make sure that you get some of those requirements down. It doesn't have to be perfect, especially with something like pothos, because they are fairly flexible plants. They can handle a little bit more cold. They can handle a little bit like, you know, less chunky soil. They can handle longer periods of time to dry out in between watering, where like some other tropical plants, they want a chunky material, but then you have to like make sure you're on it for watering because you only have like a small period of time where you could lose your plant. So pothos aren't like that. Pothos, they're gonna tell you when they're sad, they're gonna be droopy, or like the leaves are gonna be like curled up. And then you're gonna say to yourself, hey plant, what do you need? And then you're gonna stick your finger in the soil and you're gonna be like, hey plant, you feel dry. You feel really dry. You feel like crispy. Your soil feels crispy. And then you're gonna water it. And then the plant's gonna be like, thank you. So that's pothos. Because other plants, they'll tell you because they're dead. No, but really, pothos are really forgiving is the point. But that said, like I have this one pothos and I don't know, I'm too lazy to change out the soil, so I just left the soil. And it's a really crappy soil, so I just water it like really, really, really rarely, but the soil's always like crispy dry, and that plant's doing so well. I don't know. I mean, I fertilize it. Oh, fertilizing. So, they like a really rich soil too. I would say fertilize these guys often, and mostly I fertilize with fish emulsion and also seaweed fertilizer, and I usually like dilute it by half just because I'm worried about burning my plants. I would worry more about the fish emulsion than the seaweed for burning, but that said, I would, you know, you could half strength give these guys a little bit of fertilizer every week if you wanted to, or you could go every other week. I try to stay on a watering schedule as well as a fertilizing schedule, and these guys are being fertilized every 2 weeks. What else? Pothos can get really leggy, like the one I'm looking at right now over there. It's like it's just so long. So what you can do about that is that they sell these little pins that are plant pins. If you don't have those, it's not a big deal. You can use bobby pin, or you can like unwrap and make your own with just a piece of wire or a paper clip. And basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna, you know, like, oh my gosh, this is so long and weird looking. I don't want it so long, I want it like bushier. That's what you're thinking to yourself. So you can take this piece and literally just like wrap it up here and pin it, and then it's gonna be like bushier. And you could do that with a whole bunch of them. So the other thing that you could do is you could just take cuttings of your plant and just stick them in there. The pins just help hold it into the soil so it doesn't fall out. And that's actually how the nurseries a lot of times are making such full plants, is they're just sticking all those cuttings in, so you have like a whole bunch of little ones coming out. Like this video, watch my future videos, have a good day, and subscribe. Don't forget that one, it's an important one. Take care guys, see you soon, bye.